I've seen a lot of people use these. You know, they're able to manipulate the DMG file into an iOS. You can also do that too if you have that. You can create the ISO image already for your DMG, and there's code in order to do that as well too. So we wanna introduce. So our main goal here is to introduce our our Mac device, our Mac device onto an on premises, right? So you know, in order for us to do that, we can create the hybrid join device, or again, we can also you know synchronize this device to the cloud. So when we synchronize this device to the cloud, um, we need to synchronize this device to the cloud. So in order for us to synchronize this device from the cloud, we're going to need something called Intune Company Portal App, and again, that'll kind of um, log in and register the device or enroll the device. And I think we spoke about the different um, you know enrollments, right? So we have our Azure. Here, let me populate this here. Show you guys here. Let me download. I'll go to Intra. I'm gonna download that, and then remember to use your authenticator app. So once I have my authenticator app, um, it'll ask me to use that number. Type in that number. I'll say yes. Right, and then confirm that. And it should move me to the next round. So again, this is a SaaS product. Software as a service. It needs a subscription in order for this to work, for the SaaS product to work. Um, you know, so when our devices are all devices. So the join types. Okay, so they're either Entra joint or they're Entra registered. For BYOD, we usually Entra register those devices, right? And then we have our Entra joined, which is our corporate devices that are Entra joined. We typically Entra join corporate devices and have the user sign in, or the owner sign in of that. And we also um, have our MDM solution and attached to that. Let me open up our Intune here, Microsoft.com. I'm going to log into Intune.Microsoft.com. All right. So once I've logged into my Intune.Microsoft.com, we have our multiple devices, and as you can see, Chrome OS is not there anymore. But again, um, it is still available. We can use the connector to install that. I could show you guys in another video on how to do that. For Chrome OS, right? We can connect it here, right? Um, which is sort of what I did already. I just tested that out. Let me delete that. Get some more. Just gonna disconnect. But yeah, this is where you would do that. They removed it. There's another way to do it now. Um, you know, We can use the Google Admin Console for that. That's something that I was doing and it worked. But you need your Chrome OS, you need your Google Admin in order for that to work. And again, there's another video that I showed on how to get your Google Admin Center for free if you want, so that you're able to test that. So if we go back to our devices here, we have all devices here. You know, we have our co-managed devices and we have our corporate devices and our personal BYOD devices and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So when we are talking about the different platforms, we also talk about Mac OS and again, you know, Mac OS devices and how can we enroll those devices, right? And how we can set up the different push certificates for that and different bulk enrollment methods using Apple Configurator, right? So you need to download that and manage Apple Configurator enrollment. You know, we could talk about that too, actually, and try to install that once we have our VM running. We also talk about our enrollment types, right? Our platform restrictions for that, and again, in Mac OS, right, and within Intune, you know, we can create those different profiles for that. Again, I'll show you guys how to do that too in another video. But again, right, we wanna be able to know how to download and install that Mac OS. I've gone ahead and downloaded it already, um, right, and we're gonna now build this system together. Right, so I'm gonna go ahead and click File and then New Virtual Machine.